horror-related books, Halloween theme, spooky stories, stuff like that. I'm just gonna show them the Goosebumps books I have shown in one, and you would have seen some of the other ones, or I did some reading out of some of the other ones, but I figured I'd show them again. I'm gonna breeze through the Goosebumps ones, and there's some stuff you wouldn't have seen here either. But, you remember all these Goosebumps books I picked up? I think I did a garage sale pickup on them. I remember I got a bunch of them. I forget how many. I think one or two of them are not in this here. They're somewhere else. They're in another box or something. But got some of these different ones here. These are like the old Choose Your Adventure books. These are ripping those off, I guess. I used to love those books back in the day, the Choose Your Own Adventure books. I used to have some of those, but I don't anymore. But give yourself goosebumps. So this is turn a certain page and get to a point. Usually, I feel like in the Choose Your Own Adventure ones, you almost always died. There was no way to win. But it's turn the page here, turn the page there if you want to do that and stuff. And you get different endings. How does it say? 20 different endings. When did these come out? This says 96 for this one. These look like they would be before that. I mean after that, sorry. 98. This is most likely 98 too. What's the number on it? Yeah, they're 25 and 26. So. Choose Your Own Adventure stuff. There might have been another one that like I said, I don't have. That and one of the other ones I was doing a reading on that I stopped. Is floating around elsewhere. I think it says Say Cheese and Die. Oh, here's no. Oh wait, that's a different one. No, this is another one actually. This is another one of those. Trapped in Batwing Hall. I'd assume this is 96 as well. No, 95. That's number 3. So, when did Goosebumps start? I have number 1 here. Since Goosebumps started 93 or something. Let me find number 1. Because number 1 was in that lot. There it is. I think I read this one actually fully. '92. So he branched off into the choose your own adventure style. He was doing those a couple of years in, and this main line would have, I would assume, still going. I didn't read these when I was a kid. By the time these would have come out, I would have been probably 13, I guess, depending on when they actually came out in the year. But yes, the first Scholastic printing was the first July '92, so I would have been 13. I mean, I can't say they'd be past. I could have read these, but I didn't. The show started in '95, I believe, but I did see some episodes of that from time to time. It's more of a Tales from the Crypt. Oddly enough, I was watching Tales from the Crypt when I was in that started when I was in 5th grade, and I was watching that from the beginning. So I was watching that when I was younger. But I have seen this, and I have watched them somewhat recently on Tubi. They have them on Tubi. And then they had the newer ones, and there's a couple movies and stuff. He still makes these books. He's got another... I could have sworn he has something else coming out soon. I thought I saw on Instagram. But, I got a bunch of these here. I don't know how many he ultimately made in that first kind of run, but, a shocker on Shock Street. Night of the Living Dummy 2. My Hairiest Adventure. Oh, here's Say Cheese and Die Again. So this was a sequel to that other one that it's in another bin. When this one come out? 96. This is number 44 coming out in 96, so we've got Deep Trouble, and Monster Blood. Stay Out of the Basement. This was number 2. You know, you get a bunch of these. I remember most of them from the show. Oh no, here it is. Say Cheese and Diet is here. So maybe they all. This one is. A lot of these are just damaged. More than just regular wear. It looks like somebody was attempting to eat this. I don't know. It might taste good. Put a little sauce on it or something. It probably tastes alright. It's funny, part of me, God, always, I'm like, oh, I should get the rest. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not going to read 90% of these. Anyway. Oh, this is, maybe I read this one full. Did I read 2 of them full? I don't know. 95. This is The Headless Ghost. The Haunted Mask 2. So you get a lot of sequels to these. What's the price of these things? $3.50. You would be buying these, and I'm sure many of you have, that are younger than I am. I would have been buying some of the other ones I will show, but you would have been buying these at those book fairs, scholastic book fairs and stuff they would have at your local elementary school. Well, your actual elementary school, I should say, not your local one. Because there'd be a day, usually, it was actually during the school year, you'd get, everybody, you see little things, pictures of the memes or whatever. I got a Ferrari poster, a couple of books, and some pencils, from these things. Go Eat Worms and The Haunted Mask 2. I do remember those, though. Night of the Living Dummy Part 3, so there's even 3 of these. The Beast from the East. Egg Monsters from Mars, and Bad Hair Day. Most of these, I'm going by the show. The show followed these pretty much. There's differences, but they followed them pretty much to a T. They mostly had good endings. Some did not. They'd have a bad ending. Like I think the one where they get stuck in there. I think there's Let's Get Invisible. They get stuck in there. That your evil kind of self is in the mirror, and at the end, it's like, oh my god, the real guy is still stuck in the mirror, and they broke it. There's a few other ones, like the one with the aliens. Like, they don't eat the kids, but they had eaten people beforehand and stuff. So some of them do have a little bit of downer of endings, I suppose. And that's Tales from the Crypt, where usually it was a downer beginning, and then in Tales from the Crypt, it was always the bad guy or girl getting theirs at the end. It was rare in Tales from the Crypt where it would end kind of poorly, like the bad guy wouldn't get what was coming to them. And those were all based off comics from I think the 40s and 50s. Maybe it was the 50s. It predated, I'm pretty sure, the Twilight Zone and stuff by a little bit. And those things were getting banned, almost to me. Can you imagine picking those up back in the day? You'd be like, oh, this is sick. And people's parents would be like, what the hell? Oh, my God. It was the same thing with the Scary Stories books, which I'll show now. Actually, I'll show this first. This is my fiance's. This is the Fear Street, which is also this is R.L. Stine's, more mature stuff. Once again, I've never read these. I did watch some of the things they did, the Netflix movies. This one's called Broken Hearts. This was not, this is not the original. The original would have been 93, so he was even doing these then, too. I thought he might have started these, maybe late 90s, but this was 2002, this print. This is the more mature. I think these might be, not overly expensive, but a little expensive. Somebody was telling me about another, I think, did I find some of those at a G sale once? Or did I not get them? There's another kind of similar to Goosebumps. I feel like one of you guys in the comments a while back was mentioning them. I think I might have came across some. I can't remember what it was called, though. But Fear Street was another one. And these are the ones I would have been picking up. And I'm pretty sure I did pick them, at least one of them up at the book fairs when I was in elementary school. Yeah. Scary Stories book. So I got 1 and 3. I do not have 2. Because these are Scholastic, right? No? I guess they aren't. These Harper Trophy, I thought they might have been. There's a documentary on these, and these were another one that were getting banned for a bit. And then they dumbed down the images, because these were all about the images. I mean, I was probably reading, like, when did this one even originally come out? I wouldn't have had it when it originally came out. These are also adapted, most of these tales, from older stories. Not all of them, I don't think. Yeah, first publishing, or this first Harper Trophy edition was 86. 81. I definitely didn't have an 81. I probably got these when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, or so maybe like an 87 or an 88 or some shit. But they had the creepy imagery. It's cool though. I don't remember ever being creeped out by it when I was a kid. I might have been like, whoa, but I always remember I'm saying the pictures. Some of the stories are legitimately pretty creepy. This is a classic. The wiper. I'm here to wipe your windows. They did that in G.I. Joe too. This freaking thing. The Slithery Day. Martin. I'm trying to find and they have the one with the hook on the car. But the big toe is the one I remember. Where's my toe? He groaned. Stuff like that, but I don't think I ever had this one when I was a kid. The second one, I remember I did. I don't know why I would have gotten it, but like when did this originally come out? Oh, 91. Wow, this is 10 years after the first one. This one's in much better shape. They're all very short. These little stories in here, which is nice. Quick reads. And the movie that came out, what was it, like maybe 2019? It definitely had some of the stuff in it as well. The big toe, I think, was in there. Like the people were getting grabbed and sucked, kind of, or kidnapped. They kind of sucked in the stories. This was in the movie. These were no thanks. These are legitimately kind of, and still are kind of creepier stories. And in the same vein, you got this one, which I read some out of. I got this maybe a couple of years ago, maybe last year. I was in Islip still when I got it, so it might have been like not too far before we left. Strange Tales from Japan. So, you're getting their urban legends and stuff, and a bunch of different. These are longer, but it also has cool artwork in here. There's just like a bunch of pages of artwork. But also has cool stories in it and stuff. I read some of these in a video. These typically, well, the ones I read, shape-shifting did I say? Shape-shifting cats. It has its own category. I think it's a lot of it like about yokai and stuff too, right? Yeah. 99 Chilling Stories of Yokai, Ghosts, Demons, and the Supernatural. This is a cool one. I need to read more of this. Foxes have their own section. I did read some of these. I like these kind of books. The stories aren't overly long. You can kind of plow through them. We've got. I just grabbed World War Z. This is a copy I'd gotten from a garage sale. The movie was cool. I don't think I finished this. It was cool. There was something really cool in it. I forget what it was. It was towards the beginning. This is by Mel Brooks' kid, I believe, Max Brooks. The movie had already been out, I think. Oh no, it was about to come out apparently. was something cool. I forget. They were like operating on somebody, and they like turned during the operation for a specific reason. It was interesting. It was kind of different. But I'm pretty sure I didn't read the full thing of this. This is one I've read out of two, I believe. I've had this for a while. Hans Holzer's Houses of Horror. So this has these. I think this is based on actual. Is this based on reported haunted houses? I think I read some of this too at some point. Spy House Ghost of New Jersey, The Strange Case of a Colonial Soldier, The Phantom Admiral, The Devil in the Flesh, Proper Bostonian Ghosts, The House of Evil. That was a bunch here. The Teenagers in the Staten Island Ghost. Ghosts Girl of Kentucky, The Old House in Arkansas, Premonitions in Georgia. Ghostly Goings On in Oklahoma. I should have grabbed that one and they had like haunted history or haunted tales or something from Long Island in the antique store here. I think I took a picture and put it on Instagram. I'm like walking, I'm looking, like, of course, there's like a Long Island related book here. I can't escape. Good tapping on this. And the final two are Stephen King books. We got A Bazaar of Bad Dreams. So this is short stories as well. I thought these two aren't mine. Although I did buy this one for her, I think. I used to have Nightmares and Dreamscapes, which is another short story collection by him, but I don't know where the hell that went. It might be floating around somewhere. Or gave it to Goodwill or something. But this has got a ton of short stories in it. That's how many does it have? He's pretty good with these. I mean, with Stephen King, he's made so many books now. He's written so many books, I should say he's made them. He just made them, he didn't write them, he just kind of did some magic and they appeared. He's not the one who actually made the book. He wrote the books, but he didn't make them. Somebody else branded them. Who's the maker? I only just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 21, it probably says it on the back. Or does it not? Like I said, I have not read this one. He's good. Stephen King, I like some of his stuff. I've read a good amount of his books over the years. But like I said, he's written so many that it's a lot of it's just the same shit. And he goes on sometimes, like pages of a description and stuff, and which is fine. But sometimes you're just like, no, dude, I'm done. Like I read the Green Mile by him, which came out in books. It actually when it was originally released, the way I got it, I'm pretty sure there was like 5 books total, and they were short, like the Goosebumps books, kind of. They might have even been shorter than these. These are what? Actually, no, they probably were around the same because these are what? There's like 100 and something. And they released maybe it was one a month or something. I forget they came out. But that was good. I read that. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon was one I read. Tom Gordon, well, he was based on the story at the time. He was the pitcher for the relief pitcher for the Red Sox. I think he was on the Royals as well. But I'm gonna show one last book. I'm gonna talk here for a minute. I'm just trying to think of the other ones I read. Bag of Bones was they ended up making that into a TV movie with Pierce Brosnan. That was good. I read like the Needful Things is really good. That was a movie too. They made that into him. A lot of his shit became movies. I think I read The Stand. That's a super long one. I think I read Salem's Lot. I've read some of the shorter stuff, like At Pupil. It was in one of his short stories once. I read that. And I read Nightmares and Dreamscapes, which is a bunch of short story stuff. And the other ones as well. I know he has there's probably like another 15, 20 that I don't even know of that he's put out recently. He's pretty prolific. The last one is another collection. This is just 4 though, and they're much longer. This is 4 Past Midnight. So this has. I might have read some of these too at some point. These were all. No, The Sundog was not a movie. No, I guess not. Neither was The Library Policeman. But Secret Window, Secret Garden was Secret Window with Johnny Depp, and The Langoliers was a made-for-TV movie. That one's the things that the people get stuck in, like the past when they're on the plane, and the Langoliers like eat the past, and they gotta get back to like the present. I'm pretty sure I actually read that one. There's another one that has that pupil in it. I can't remember what that one's called. But these are much longer. And then like this one has a ton in it, and this one has 4 in it, and it's over 900 freaking pages, which is kind of nuts because you're getting like pretty alright sized books, for each one. You're getting 4 stories that are decent sized. I mean, I don't know how. Let's see if it shows where they start so we can get an idea. Oh, here's all his books. Let me go past that in a second. Langoliers is page 1. That was only 296. The Library Policeman was pretty long, and then the Sundog's pretty long, and the other one's under 200 pages. Secret Window. All right, Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, Night Shift, Dead Zone. Did I read it? I don't know. Dark Half, I want to say I read. That was a movie, though. And then he did the stuff under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman, which I did read some of. I read The Regulators. And then I think Insomnia was one of those too. Oh no, it wasn't. It was a partner book with The Regulators, I think, or maybe it was another one. Thinner, The Running Man, which is thinner I've seen. The Running Man, Long Walk, which just came out. This movie, Roadwork, as The Regulators and Blaze as Richard Bachman. Oh, I think I read the first 2 of the Dark Tower series. There is a decent amount of those. Where is the other? The Colorado Kid. I want to say Haven. That show Haven, I think, was based on that loosely. Maybe, I don't know. Where is the other one of his? Different Seasons is the one that I think have pupils in, but I could be wrong. Yeah, this is a ton of stuff, and this isn't all of it either, because he probably would have had another 10 after this. This copy of this one came out. What was this published date? 2016. So yeah, he probably has another 15 at this point. But like I said, a lot of that stuff gets repetitive to me after a while. That's why it's kind of nice when he branches off into, Shawshank Redemption, right? Was that him too? The Green Mile, and he does the different stuff. Which is nice. But yeah, there's a couple of the Stephen King books she has over there. The Outsider and The End of Watch. I think the ones with the dude, I forget what it's called. The series, Finders Keepers in there, and Mr. Mercedes, I think. It has a guy in there and a woman in there that I think the woman pops up in another book, I think it is. But yeah, just a little show and tell of some Halloween horror themed books. But thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.